So a little test ride and a view over. I have been out on it today and I've very nearly run out of fuel because stupidly I forgot I'd only put a tiny bit in it. So I'm just going to take it up to the petrol station and bang some fuel in. Tiny drops, it is leaking. I don't think it's leaking from my JB, I think it is seal. So as I suspected, that's actually coming from the bolt. As I suspected, the old tube weld, the tube gasket, weirdly enough, isn't as good as a proper one. So my tube gasket, the proper gasket has arrived. The sump hasn't yet. I think job for the weekend is to put the proper one on. You know, it's fine. It's more than good enough to use. It's the world's smallest leak, but why not when it's coming? Bit of a shame, but I did it as an experiment. It's not really too much of a drama. Right, let's see if it starts after all of that. It's a bit lazy to start this. Not entirely sure why yet. I might play with the choke. Dead in the middle, and about 4,000 it's a bit dead. I don't know if that's the jetting or the air. Yeah, drill screws. What do you think? At that 4,000, trying to give it revs at 4,000, it just takes time to get onto it. And to be fair, the engine's cold. Do it. She'll have to have a play. Your legs warm this. So yeah, it's kind of a dead spot around around 4,000. Sorry. It gets better when it gets warm. So I don't know if that's air fuel screw or the jetting at 120. Remember, I came down from 140. You know, or that jetting is too high. Too high, not high enough. I do have 125s. Might give them a go. And it does get better with warmth. Come on dearie, sort your handbag out. No rush. do have patience issues. Not that I don't trust you all, but I wasn't going to show you my PIN number. I don't really want to brim it because I'm going to have to take that tank off again at some point to paint it, if nothing else. But I've yet to find a motorbike that doesn't ride better with a half decent amount of fuel in it. Kind of makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, bit of luck this week on the old shopping front. I'm not sure why. Facebook sorted me out this week, so I've managed to find a what was I going to say? A mudguard. That's it. So I found an original mudguard for this that's in quite shoddy condition. That I'm happy to cut up, frankly. So I don't want to cut up the one that came with it because it's in too good nick. I don't like the one that I put on this. I like the effect it gives, but I don't think I've done it well. So I've got an original. I'm going to hack it up, spray it black and all that sort of stuff. So well happy with that. It's 20 quid posted, I think. Yeah, fine, happy with that. What else have I got? Oh, I found some forks for the diversion. Bearing in mind mine were basically shagged. And they are hen's teeth, but on the Yamaha diversion Facebook group, a guy's I think lost his license. Diversions are great, but you get more from them by breaking them the age they're in rather than by keeping them, selling them as a whole bike, which is bloody ridiculous really, but yeah, so be it. So I managed to get those nice and cheap off him. I think that was 100. Now bearing in mind I could only find them for sort of 200 as a pair, or even just making one up and buying the stanchions and everything separately was still coming in around 200 quid plus. So yeah, happy with that. A lot more responsive now, it's warm. Just going to do a quick once up and down. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a lot better when it's warm. It's you know, it's a 1987 bike. It's not surprising. But that said, it's not quite right yet. We'll see. Yeah, it just needs something. Not quite right. It's just a little bit dead in the middle. Not quite responsive enough, but it's fine tuning. It's so much better than it was. It moves. Behaved better than it did with those 140s in it. Definitely. Yeah, so a little bit of oil on the floor there. So what? Yeah, so what? Fab little bike. Now I've got a bit of fuel in it. Like I said, I took it out on a run today and realised I have now full fuel in it. I now know that there is at least 13 miles worth of reserve tank on this bike, and believe me, my arse was giving it 10 pence 50 pence all the way because I was adamant it was going to drop out. I was concerned that at one point it lost a load of power and I was going to be well and truly in the poop till I stuck the reserve tank on and it rode fine. and it was entirely because I was running it pretty much dry. Yeah, so the bike's a lot happier. Rode really well, although that said, I was riding it really cautiously because I was running out of fuel. So what next? I need to swap out that oil sump pan. The gasket, like I say, has arrived. The pan hasn't yet. It's due to arrive tomorrow, so I'll do that probably over the weekend and just swap those out. This works, it works fine. Tiny bit of oil that's been sat out here for 4 hours ish. I think what I'll do is I'll chuck a bit of cardboard under it tonight, just to kind of monitor how much it will drop over a sort of 12-hour period. But yeah, it's a great fun bike. It's lovely to ride. It's actually really, it's an odd position to ride in. Sacrilege climbing off the high side, but that's where the space is. It's an odd position to ride in, but it's actually really quite comfy. Yeah, so the advantage of kids, always cereal boxes knocking around. I'm just going to drop that underneath and just try and catch where it's coming from. But you know, like I say, it's really gradual. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, and there's on the road bikes that leak a lot more, so you know, you can get away with it with the gasket in a tube. You can certainly get away with JB welding or repair. That's not where the leak's coming from, I don't think. I think it's coming from the edges. But yeah, so I'll do that over the weekend. Let me show you something. 1 second. Okay, some emergency floodlighting going on there. I'll kick my bloody car all the way, that's annoying. So I've just chucked those on. Really can't see what they look like chucked in a garage, but I think if nothing else they keep the rain off the pods. Yeah, not sure, but I'll give it a go. It still does a job. The paint hasn't cracked as much as I expected to actually when I put them on, but we'll see how it goes. And like I say, it's all just one big experiment. Might be better off with just something cut across here to cover up the keck of the where the bolt for the tank connects. Dunno yet, not sold, but we'll see what happens. Cool. The intention tomorrow is to take this to work tomorrow, which will be an interesting experience. Still lots to do, but it is getting there. Cheers all, catch you later.